Hi guys, Jennifer at FilmTools.tv. Check out this interview from Dana Christiaansen, DP of Exit, a short by Sam Nicholson, which was shot exclusively on the Canon C300.
And the thing that Sam always brings to the table is he's always so visual effects oriented. It's always critical, and they all know that he is going to put these cameras through their paces as part of the test. And this was pretty intense. The first third of this little short film was all shot on a virtual stage, virtual green screen stage at Universal.
And I have to tell you, because it came up and we're all sitting in the audience and everyone went, ooh, Blade Runner, ooh. Yeah. That second ooh by the whole crowd, it was great.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Sam kind of used that as something to start off on, to kind of go with that kind of look and keep it futuristic. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to give it his own kind of edge. And his designers, he's got such great talent at Stargate, and they just kind of, first of all, he wrote the script, mm-hmm. and he had to kind of come up with a script, and he had to kind of come up with something that he could pull off. And for our time and our the amount of time and money we had, we just tried to, the script started out much bigger, mm-hmm. and then finally reality settles in, and you just try to basically get a beginning, a middle, and an end to a story, sort of, and keep it interesting. And that's how, and that futuristic city sequence evolved out of that.
How fast did you feel comfortable using the camera?
Oh, right away after we tested. Pretty seriously, we did some very in-depth tests, because when you're going to commit that kind of time and money to going up to San Francisco and shooting a huge sequence up there at night in the way he wanted to shoot, which, by the way, that's another thing Sam said to me, this camera, I want to shoot almost like I'm shooting stills. I want to just be able to shoot fast, shoot everything I want to shoot. I want to test this camera for the image quality, because I think we're going to get it. And, we have to wrap our heads around that. And my job was to try to support that request. And then he said, and then, of course, we're going to go shoot this whole entire sequence in 2 days on the virtual stage. I'm going, oh, my God, okay, Sam, let's go. And
I did notice from just from watching it that obviously you had a boatload of setups. It looks like you banged them out.
Yeah, I talked to the assistant director department, and they're estimating conservatively 50 setups a day. And there's two cameras just shooting all the time. One camera handheld, the other camera Steadicam, smooth handheld. And when you're set up like that with no other restrictions, if you think you got to do a long tracking shot, B camera Steadicam covers that. A camera tracks it differently or shoots the wide master or something like that. You just go. You go. And the grip and electric just kind of falls into the pace with that. Which brings me to say, while I'm on camera, that I have to say that I'm sitting here getting interviewed by all this stuff, but I had a really great crew. I had a great crew of people that,
there's nothing more important than the team.
They got tested, They got tested because, when there's very little slowing you down, they have to kind of adapt and move with it. And so it was a tough thing to do. But they did an incredible job. Sam came up with an art department that put that street scene together and all of those...
which looked brilliant.
Those things, which looked just amazing. I just couldn't believe it. And they're all doing it on a dime, So...
Any thoughts on this camera, its future?
Well... Any camera, I think it's going to have a great future. I think it just has. I think it's going to be very widely accepted for a lot of reasons that I don't know if I'm really right on the mark about. But it was great when other cameras came out with an 800, a clean 800 ASA image, ISO. I meant a clean 800 ISO image was a great thing. So now you're out on the streets and you're shooting pretty much with a 1.4 lens. You're shooting some really beautiful available light footage. So that's great. Now you come out with a camera that'll go up to 3200 clean images at 3200 ISO. It's something to think about, because you may not need 3200, but you certainly, maybe you need 1600 and you want to be able to shoot at 2.8 Maybe you've got an ultra-wide prime that you need to be 2.8, and you want a clean blacks, good color, no noise. So you maybe only have to shoot at 1600, and your lighting has a couple of these things gang together, you know.
And I got to think it's kind of cool to have that in the back pocket, knowing it's there if you need it, right?
Absolutely. You know, and our approach was, what did we need to be? Well, first of all, we shot very comprehensive tests. Okay, because we had to know. Okay, so is it going to crash at 1600? Can we get to 16, or do we have to run up some gain on it and maybe live with a little noise? So we shot our tests. We couldn't see anything. And we had a pretty nice monitor set up there, you know, calibrated monitor. Raise it again. It still looks really clean. Raise it again. Well, we'll see this when we get back to the shop that this is falling apart. So basically, we just really couldn't believe it. But at, careful examination, I mean, looking at, finger pointing right on the screen really close, at 3200, it was just remarkably clean. You go up to 64, and yes, now we start to be able to point out a few little things, little noise in the blacks, and our model had very dark hair, and you could see some breakup in the highlights in her hair and stuff like that. So a camera that shoots such clean images at 3200, it's got to make a difference to people. It just changes your whole approach to what you're shooting. You can walk into any interior with available light and just bring clean up light, or just light modeling light to do what you want to do. If you shoot a night interior, you can use practical lamps, adjust the bulbs, dimmers on them a little bit, and bring in some of your own lighting to clean up the actors and things like that, and it's just going to go very, very quickly.
Well, I think basically all you and your fellow DPs kind of gave Canon the assignment is, we love the 5D. Will you please make a camera that can function normally as a regular video camera? Do you think they nailed it?
Oh, absolutely. And, the fact that the green screen holds together so well, which the 5D was a complete failure at, pretty universally agreed upon. They just came up with some chip technology that I really don't know where it came from. Maybe they, kind of modified some earlier designs they've had on other video cameras, but they really came up with something really fantastic. I think the only thing I'm really waiting to see them come up with now is, more frame rates, more high-speed frame rates at 1080. But something tells me that's just, that'll happen, Yeah. That'll happen.
I think as they've kind of pointed out, this is the start of this isn't the last one, in other words.
Several people very high up in the Canon ranks came to me and said, this is really just the beginning. I said, well, this is a hell of a beginning. He says, no, but I mean, really, we got a lot of things coming. I go, oh my God! Yeah. Already the Wi-Fi gag that they've got in the works.
Amazing. We were just going, what? iPad? What?
I mean, I don't know any specs or details on it, but if that alone can just help spread out the focus scales on the EF primes, right then and there, they've got a huge step in using this camera. I mean, that really was the biggest challenge, is dealing with the EF primes on the whole. Our whole thing was, by the way, I don't know if you know this, the whole thing was shot with the EF primes and zooms.
There you go. It's amazing, and then. Yeah, not bad. You did good, Dana.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Well, there we go. Dana Christiaansen with FilmTools.tv. Thank you very much for coming by.
My pleasure. Take it easy.
You bet.